Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, help me stand. I am tired, I am weak, and I am worn.
This is your bladder, and this is your baby right here. He's jumping for you. Look at him.
Wow, I can't believe how developed he is. Look at him move.
Yeah, he's been well developed since 8 weeks. He's had all his parts. Look at him. Oh, look at you.
How come I can't feel that?
You won't until the 4th month, but he's been moving in there since 8 weeks. He's got a whole lot of room in the womb to move, and with all that fluid, they're able to move around, do somersaults. You know, look at him. Do you believe it? You're going to have your hands full, girl. Look at that.
Hello, and welcome to Love Them Both. I'm your host today, and my name is Janet Koki. Love Them Both is a show that tries to educate the public on all things pertaining to the sanctity of life and the support of life. There's a misconception in our society today that a woman or couple in an unplanned pregnancy is without any direction. And I wish to educate the public today that there is so much help out there that you wouldn't even be able to access it all. In our small city, there's over 28 agencies dedicated to helping people, helping couples in unplanned pregnancies. They offer everything from legal advice to cribs to STD testing to any referrals for any kind of help. There's even free babysitting until you finish your education. There's even scholarships available for women in unplanned pregnancies. There's so much help available, and we want to help you access that help to become more knowledgeable about it, not just for yourself, but for your loved ones and your family. A woman that chooses abortion in her unplanned pregnancy will suffer so much, not physically, yes, there's many physical things that can happen because abortion is a blind procedure, but it's the emotional tragedy that happens to a woman that here in the richest country in the world, all we can offer her is one way out, is the killing of her child, and she will suffer the rest of her life emotionally. To that end, we're here today to educate you, your families, your friends about all the help that's available. You cannot believe the people that are waiting in the wings to help you. And to that end, our guest today, I brought here today for you an angel. Her name is Amy Beck, and God's called her into the Pregnancy Care Center and to help women in unplanned pregnancies. Amy Beck is the operational director of Care Center. Now, we only have a minute here before we go to a short break, Amy, but tell me, what is a Pregnancy Care Center?
We are a place that provides abortion alternatives to women in need in their unplanned pregnancies. We do pregnancy testing, ultrasounds, and we help from there with baby items, mom support groups, childbirth classes, just everything you need is covered. We cover it all. If we can't cover it, we refer you out to where you can get it covered.
I love that. Everything you need is covered, and that's going to be our catchphrase today. Everything you need is covered. So please hold tight to your seat. We're going to show you a really short message here. We'll be right back with Amy Beck, Operations Director, Pregnancy Care Center. She happens to be in Oakland, Pennsylvania, near a big university, and she's going to tell us all about some personal stories of women she helped. She just came from the hospital dropping a girl off who's having a baby as we speak. So please come right back. We have some exciting stuff to tell you, some great education that will help you and your family save your life. Thank you so much for watching. Please stay in your seat. Thank you.
I'm wondering what you'll be when you grow up, what you'll do and where you'll go. On this road you'll travel far. There's one thing that you can know for sure. Your daddy's here and will love you. Caring and protecting daddy's girl is what I'll do. When your childhood is all through, when you leave and live out on your is here and we'll love you. Caring and protecting daddy's girl is what I'll do.
Pornography is not victimless. Real men defend women and children no matter whose daughters they are. Become a defender today.
Abortion is the #1 killer of African Americans. Abortion kills more blacks than all other deaths combined. Since 1973, more than 40 million unborn children have been legally killed in this country. Of those, more than 14 million of them were black. African American women make up only 13% of American women of childbearing age, yet 35% of all abortions are performed on black women. The abortion rate among black women is 3 times higher than that of white women. At this rate of abortion, our future looks dim. Join me. Take a stand against this devastating atrocity. Abortion kills. We must protect all of our children, no matter how small their bodies may be. I'm Day Gardner, Director of Black Americans for Life.
Email bal@nrlc.org.
Hello, welcome back to Love Them Both. I'm Janet Koki, your host for today, and with me is Amy Beck. Amy Beck is the Operations Director for a pregnancy care center in Oakland, Pennsylvania, which is right near the University of Pittsburgh. She's works in the big city as a pregnancy care center in the big city, if you will, and has a lot of interesting stories to tell us. But what Amy does is she offers women alternatives and help, and any kind of help they need if they're in an unplanned pregnancy. So again, I welcome you back, Amy, and I thank you for being here today.
Thanks.
I really thank you for your time and your effort. Amy, just tell me, how did you come to work for a pregnancy care center?
Well, I came to work here because I had an experience about 15 years ago. I got pregnant. I was in college. I was not planning this at all. I wasn't even going to have sex. I was going to wait till I got married. So it was a shocker to me. I had a lot of family support. I did not choose abortion, and I'm grateful that I did not go down that direction. And I ended up coming across the Pregnancy Care Center because I needed a childbirth class, actually. They were rather expensive. They were like $80, $90, and I didn't have the money being in college. So I went to the Pregnancy Care Center in Wexford, the North Hills one, and I went to their class, learned about what they did, went to the mom support group, which I loved, and they really helped me through that time. And then a while later, about, I think Grace was about 1, I needed an internship at school. And I thought, oh, I'd love to intern over there. So I got to intern. They ended up asking me to help with the moms group. When about a year later, I started doing that. I worked with the moms group. We've met every week now. And we just supported the moms and helped them through all kinds of things. We did classes on parenting. We went out with each other. We became really close friends, and supported all those women through their unplanned pregnancies because I had that experience. I ended up taking some time off, needed to help kids with homework for a while, and then I got a letter about exciting things that they were doing, and they were opening an Oakland center, and I was like, oh my gosh, when I got pregnant, I was going to Pitt. So this would be me. I would love to do this. And I called them up, and they said, well, we've interviewed 10 people, and no one has worked out. So maybe you are who God called to do this. So I got the job down there about 4 years ago, and have been expanding the center down there, and going into the colleges and teaching classes. I teach abstinence and STDs at schools and the universities now.
Well, I wanted to touch on, first of all, I love your daughter's name, Grace, because everything is Grace, so I love that name. But something that just came to my mind is that you said everything is free at your center, isn't it, Amy?
Yes.
Everything is free.
Yes.
I think that's what
you don't get too much free now.
I'm telling you, there's nothing. Nothing seems to be free. Every day your bills are going up. The water, the gas, the lights, everything goes up. but everything you offer to women is free. Now, I know one of the medical services you offer is free pregnancy testing. They can find out right away if they really are pregnant if they come to you, or can't they?
Yes, yes. Our tests are laboratory quality tests, 99% accurate,
Right.
7 to 10 days after intercourse, so they don't even have to miss their period.
Right away, that saves them. I don't know what they cost now, but say $20 for a pregnancy test. Right away, that's free to the girls that walk in. And what other kinds of services do you? How does a girl get in touch with you? First of all, website, phone.
We have a website, pregnancycareinfo.org.
Okay.
And they can find us through there. A lot of people will email me through there, and I will, if it's during the week, I will email them right back
and
right
that's
away.
pregnancy what?
Pregnancycareinfo.org.
.org.
Yeah.
And they can email you through there. You also have a phone number. I saw on the yellow pages. You have a big ad
Yes.
under abortion alternatives. Very first page, abortion. I see there's your phone number, so they could call you on the phone and get a hold of the help you can provide.
Right. When they call on the phone, we can set them up with an appointment right away.
Right.
And a lot of times we can get them in that day. I know the feeling of, am I pregnant? I don't know. You want to know right away, and we will get you set up with that right away.
Great, great. And what other kinds of things can you do? Tell me what the typical girl comes in and what you do for her, Amy, and what.
After we do a pregnancy test and say it comes up positive, we are going to then talk to her about an ultrasound. There's several reasons an ultrasound is important. One thing that it'll detect, is there a heart rate for this baby? Because if there's not a heart rate, then you're going to miscarry. That's the direction it's going in. I never knew this. A lot of times, women don't automatically just start bleeding and miscarrying. You know, that happens, you know, that baby doesn't have a heartbeat early on. And so we can see that on the ultrasound. There's also other reasons why that pregnancy doesn't, you know, have a baby with a heart rate. So we can detect all those things.
Right.
And then also, we're going to detect how many weeks. How many weeks along are you? I don't know how many times you think you know your period, you know how many weeks you are, and then you walk in, and the ultrasound says something different. And with how many weeks you are is important, because if a woman is looking at abortion, then, you know, with each week is a different type of abortion that she could have. And many people have friends, know people that have had abortions and have a little bit of background on that, and they're like, oh, my friend had a bad time with this abortion and I don't want that abortion.
Right.
Or if it's this many weeks, I can't do it anymore. That would just be wrong. So we're going to go in and we're going to see exactly how many weeks, and we're going to see if that baby has a heart rate.
So you could give her a pregnancy test right away, and you have an ultrasound right on site.
Right on site.
Yes.
In fact, most of the pregnancy centers in the city of Pittsburgh do. And it's becoming a trend that a lot of other centers have them too.
One of the things that touched me, what you said, Amy, is I'm older, and I always say I was in the first generation of aborted women, because I was in college when they passed Roe versus Wade, so the women started having abortions. And now that I've lived a lot of decades and see that they had infertility problems, ongoing emotional problems of their life, this ultrasound could save a woman who will blame herself the rest of her life about this life that she took, but it might not even have been viable.
Right. It might not be a viable pregnancy, and she's beating herself up.
She would have lost that baby anyway, and not have that guilt of, I made this happen.
Right.
It would be.
You don't have the guilt. You don't have the side effects from abortion. You know, some of the scarring and tearing, you know, of the uterus, that kind of thing. She won't have any of those physical side effects.
So many people say, you know, keep the abortion issue secular. Don't mention God. But I tell you, God won't be denied. The Bible says a woman will not forget the child of her womb. Whether you have a spontaneous miscarriage, a spontaneous abortion, miscarriage, whether you have an abortion, you will not forget the child of your womb. You'll even have, I know myself, I had a miscarriage. I have a lot of guilt. Did I pick something up too heavy? Did I not? You know, so you have all this guilt involved. So to know that you have this ultrasound and you don't have a viable pregnancy anyway. What is it, 1 in 3 pregnancies end in miscarriage?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could save that woman that pain, not to even say the money, you know, $400 or $500 for an abortion that she does not need, because she's going to naturally lose that baby. So, okay, she's come in, you've given her a free pregnancy test, you've given her a free ultrasound, then what?
Well, then, you know, a lot of times when you're in the ultrasound room, you know, you see this baby on this screen, and I give them a heads up. If you are not miscarrying, you will see a baby. You will see arms and legs, because it's 7 weeks from the date of your last period, not conception. You can see arms, legs, you know, a little beating heart. You can see all of that. So I prepare them ahead of time that you may see something you don't want to deny. You want to have an abortion.
Right.
You have
It's
to go
just a
through
lump
this
of
is
tissue.
denial.
Yeah.
Right. And so I let them know that ahead of time. A lot of times through the ultrasound they see that baby. I had a girl that saw at 10, 11 weeks saw that baby moving and jumping around and waving. We thought the baby was waving. And she was just amazed that this much was going on in 11 weeks. She was just throwing up. She didn't know anything else.
Right.
And I remember that before she left, she turned to our nurse and said, "This was the best day of my life. Thank you so much." So that was exciting, but she was ready to be pregnant. You know, she was okay with it, and she saw a baby that day. So we speak to them in their lives about what's going on with this baby. Also, I see a lot of women at that point that whether they believe in God or not, they look onto that screen, and there's no denying that that is a baby and it's not a lump of tissue. And a lot of times they'll say, "I can't believe God created this baby." Like,
yeah, they
you
know that
God's not a part of my life for how long, but all of a sudden, God made this baby, and this is my baby, and I just can't believe that.
Right.
And a lot of times they change their mind just from right there, because no matter what side effects you're looking at with abortion, it's no denying that's a baby.
That's why this venue here is so important, because we get to educate. I know I have a son that goes to a great high school with a $400 biology book, and they go through weeks of Darwin and all this stuff, but there is no developmental pictures of a baby. There's no, you know, when the heartbeat is, by the time you know you're pregnant, there's a heartbeat that they can pick up on a sonogram, you know, so it's like, there's no developmental information out there. It's almost as if we want to keep the girls blind and educated, because then they'll make this choice which feeds money into the abortion industry, you know, give them all the money. But if a girl gets to see, you know, that's an education in itself, to see the development of that baby. They have no idea that, and therefore they have no idea the emotional rendering they'll go through if they choose differently. But go ahead, I digress here.
Well, from there, a lot of times we'll pray. We'll pray for that girl right there, because we can. We don't take government money. We go with individuals and churches. So we can stop and pray and say, you know what?
You pray?
We do.
Oh!
And I can
how unworldly of you!
How many people, they just, you know, whether they never pray, ever, all of a sudden, you're in that situation and you see a baby on that screen. I don't know what else to do. Let's pray.
It's a miracle.
Okay, we'll pray.
Yeah.
So we stop and we pray for that girl, and we pray. And sometimes when the guys come in, which I love when the guys come in, we'll pray with them too. We'll pray with all of them and help them on that path that they have chosen. And we'll talk about, after they leave that sonogram, we'll bring them in another room and we'll talk about where they're going to go from here. We talk about how to tell family members, how to stay connected with us, because a lot of times they'll go out and they'll tell those family members, and those family members will say, well, you just need to get an abortion.
Right.
You know, moms, dads, aunts, uncles, everybody has an opinion. I've heard them personally. They will tell you, get an abortion. And so we help them through what family members will say. Then we're also going to talk to them about, you're going to get bigger. You're gonna get a belly. We're going to help you with maternity clothes, with baby clothes. If your family helps you out, great. But there's always room for more.
Right.
So we will continue to help you through that. And then also with plugging them in with mom support group. A lot of times, and I know this was myself, 19, having a baby, who are my friends having a baby right now? Nobody. So we have to make some new friends that are going through the same things you're going through, so that they get connected there. Then we also help them, of course, with childbirth class and infant care and parenting. And so we let them know we need to stay connected with you through this.
I love that you're, you know, it's pregnancy care. And did you say that there's a website that's Pregnancy Care Net or something?
Pregnancy Care Info.
Info, okay,
.org.
that's your, but it's like a safety net you're providing these girls. Your family, I've met a lot of grandparents that have had aborted grandchildren, and they'll say they regret it so much that they were quiet about it, or they said, oh, do this for your career, for your education, instead of supporting them through their education and career as your agency does. And there's so many agencies out there that will even provide educational monies to a girl in an unplanned pregnancy so that she can have the support.
Oh, yeah.
But it's the support. But I guarantee you, too, that I have seen that those same families turn around when that baby comes, and they are ridiculous. They're the most wonderful grandparents that, you know, sometimes it takes a while to digest this life event, that this is a change. We were going down this path with little Mary. She was going to go to college and do this, and one. Well, you can still do that. You know, you can still do that with the family.
I finished my degree.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That wasn't going to stop me.
Right, exactly.
My life just changed. It didn't end.
Right.
You know?
And yet you got the support you needed, and now there's even more support out there for these girls.
Oh, much more than when 15 years ago.
So when I think once she sees that baby and has the courage to, you know, go through the blah, 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 the parents are going to give her whatever, you're there to support her. She can call you, and it's that private counseling that, you know, that you do that is so helpful.
And many of our volunteers have stories. They have stories to tell. They have reasons why they're there. They love what we do, and they've had experiences in this. So they will often tell that girl, I've been through this. You know, you can get through this too. So yeah.
I'm sorry to take a break now because we're just getting rolling, and it just there's so many interesting things. But we're just going to take a very short 1 minute break here for an important message, and we'll be right back with some really good information and some really good stories and phone numbers and websites. So please come right back and hear all the good information and education that we can give you to help your family and friends do the right thing. Thank you so much.
You make your way through life, deciding who you are, how you feel, and what you believe. Sure, it's hard, but you do what you know is right. Maybe your voice isn't the loudest, but it's the voice you dare to listen to.
If you're facing an unexpected pregnancy, call 1-800-550-4900. They said you wouldn't be bothered by a voice calling for you in the night. There would be no trail of cereal through the house, no spills or stray toys. The clock ticks, all is calm, and you realize there is still a voice. If you face the pain of an abortion, call 1-800-593-2273.
Hello, and thanks for hanging on. We have Amy Beck, and she's the operations director of a pregnancy care center, and we're just talking about some personal stories. When a girl needs family support, and she's just shocked her family with the news of an unplanned pregnancy, Amy's there to support her through that, and so her family can digest that and handle that information and pay. And Amy wants to tell us about a story about family support.
I have had several girls that have gone through this. The family's shocked, they're upset. Some of them are saying, you can't do this. And I had a girl just last week say to me, you wouldn't believe where my life is today. She had a hard time in the beginning. People around her told her to get an abortion. She would not. She stuck to her guns. She was a Christian girl. She said, I can't do that. That's a baby. And it's my baby. No matter who the father is, it's my baby, and I'm not doing that. So she had this baby, or was about to have this baby, I should say. She went back home. She was in college. She finished her last semester, and in the summer she was able to, she was finished in May. So she was able to go back home, got her degree and everything. Her family started all coming around her, rubbing her belly as she got bigger, and just amazed that this little baby was going to come into their life and live with them. And the boyfriend who'd been saying, have an abortion, he came around, he fell back in love with her, and right now that he has asked her to marry him, and they're planning a wedding, and she, in fact, I got to call her back because she might have already had that baby by now. And her whole family, even her grandmother that she thought, my grandma's going to be so disappointed in me, and was, but moved on, because who can be angry with a little child that didn't ask to be in this situation? And she just said to me, Amy, I can't believe where my life is now. I can't believe how happy I am now when I was in your office crying and crying and crying. I don't know how many times, and now this is where my life is. She couldn't even believe it.
I know, like, a lot of times I'm out on the street doing pro-life work, and I meet these young men that are so angry because their girlfriends have had abortions that, do they quietly sit by thinking that's their role, to quietly sit by, it's all on her, and they don't want to say anything? But I want to shake them and say, just say, we'll make it through this. That's all they need you to say, is that we'll handle this, you know?
Yes. I have a lot of men that will say, whatever you decide.
Right.
That is like the standard, whatever you decide.
Have we beaten men down so much in this society that they don't have ownership of their own children? You know what I mean? That they don't... Yeah. You know, that you just sit there and be quiet, it's all on us. Well, I don't understand that they don't say, we'll get through this, it'll all work out. They think that but they don't realize they're going to suffer from that abortion also.
Yes, they do. I have many men. And I have them call me and say, can I do anything? Is there anything I can do to stop her from getting this abortion? And other than bringing her into the center and giving her an ultrasound and talking to her, you know, legally they don't have anything. We can't stop her, you know?
Right.
She does have this right to choose.
But they really want the man to say, I'll save you. I'm
girls
here on
do.
the white horse, I'll save you. We don't have to do this.
That's right. Most girls do, because what I've found is, it was research from Planned Parenthood, actually, the Alan Guttmacher Institute. 60% of women that have abortions were coerced.
Yes.
And first and foremost is the boyfriend. Second's the mom and dad and the family around them. But a lot of times it's the boyfriends that say, you know, this is what I want, or act like this is what they want, or won't tell them what they want, that they think, well, I need to hold on to this guy. This is what I have to do.
And I'm very sorry to say that I know of a couple stories of a father who's taken his daughter into an abortion clinic, and mother also, and later their relationship was dissolved because that hurt is there. And that girl grows up, and maybe she's infertile from her abortion, maybe she never goes on to marry or have another boyfriend or a baby, and when she hits those, you know, late 30s, early 40s, and there's no child in her life, and she really has she blames the parents for they think, oh, we're going to set her, you know, career, money, career. But they ruin their future relationship with that girl is what they don't realize. I wish I could show them a, you know, looking glass where you're going to be 20 years from now if you let her do this.
That's right.
You know, I'm sure their intentions they think are good, but because, you know, there's nothing in the media about the truth. But I digress here. Anyway, tell me about what type of education about the pregnancy, fetal development, abortion risks, alternatives. What do you tell the girl?
We have a pamphlet that goes through each one of those things. It goes through fetal development first, then it goes through the different types of abortions, how they're performed, then it goes through all the risks, all the physical risks, and then we go through the emotional risks, and then I even have a section that says the spiritual consequences. Because even those girls that believe there's a God, you know, don't pray every day, aren't practicing, but believe there is a God, they do have spiritual consequences too. Everyone does, I believe.
Right.
And you know, and I had a girl that told me, I read what you said, and it's hard what you said about the spiritual consequences, and I thought, I'll be fine. I'll ask God to forgive me.
Right.
And He will, because I know that He will.
Right.
And I'll be fine, and I'm a strong woman, and I'll work right through all that. And she came back to me about 6 months later, and she was pregnant again. She had suffered for 6 months of post-abortion and missing that baby that she wanted to, you know, that she really wanted to have, that she got pregnant again. And she sat down and told me, I should have never done it, and that, you know, while I thought I was strong enough, I wasn't. And the spiritual consequences for her was that she had a hard time praying.
Yes.
She could not pray, even though she knew God forgave her. In her, she just couldn't pray anymore.
She couldn't accept the forgiveness for herself.
Right.
I've read some books on the, forgive me, but a psych major, and so I read some books on the psychological consequences, and they, you know, so what she was doing, that's called a replacement baby, and there's names for all these syndromes. They go back, and anyway, somebody was saying about the baby. What were you saying about the baby? I'm sorry, I digressed there. You were saying something about a baby? No?
That she got pregnant with her second baby?
Yes.
Yes.
And
she
everything
did.
worked out okay?
She did. And the couple decided to stay together and really changed and realized what they did that first time was the wrong thing to do. And having that second baby, that replacement baby, you know, started taking away some of those feelings.
Right.
But she does still go through them every once
Oh,
in a while.
yes, and they can't enjoy the baby because they have that guilt. That guilt keeps coming back, and they don't enjoy the birth of the baby as they should, because, which speaks to me about women who've had abortions and need counseling. You offer that for women that are
we have post-abortion support group. They go with a book, Forgiven and Set Free.
Right.
And all around the city, I mean, most pregnancy care centers that I know of will have that. So you can call up anyone, and they will connect you with their post-abortion support group.
So at the bottom of your screen is phone numbers and websites, and again, let's mention, I know that there's pregnancy resource. What's your website again, Amy?
Our website is pregnancycareinfo.org.
Right.
Now that's our website where you're going to find information about the Oakland Center, right now the University of Pittsburgh, and it's also going to be the North Hills Center up in Wexford. But there are many other centers all across the country.
Yes, I Googled Pregnancy Resource Network.
Yes.
And all these centers came up in our area. I mean, just center after center and in surrounding areas. And that's just the pregnancy resource networks. Then there's, you know, educational sources, and there's babysitting sources, and it just goes on and on, the, you know, the amount of services there are. Are there other things, I'm sure, Amy, that we haven't touched on that you offer? What about, you offer confidential, non-judgmental counseling?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
You hold all the information the girls give you privately.
Strictly confidential. I mean, it is very confidential. We just like any other medical clinic has HIPAA and privacy policies, we do too.
Right.
We have those same HIPAA. We have girls that come in for ultrasounds. They sign those consent forms, those HIPAA policies. We will not say anything to anyone.
Right.
So we're under those
So
same
if the
medical
boyfriend
standards.
calls or the mother calls, there's no information they're going to get of anything they talk to you about.
No.
And you refer, I understand, for any STD testing, sexually transmitted disease. You'll refer for testing for those?
Right. The Oakland Center doesn't do it right now, but we have a center in the South Hills and a center in Coraopolis that does do it, and we will refer out to those ones because we believe they're a lot like us, and they'll really take care of that person, and I have a lot of confidence in those.
I remember when I was in social work years ago that it was, you know, sometimes you didn't want to refer to the same type of agency, but I find that just the opposite in the pregnancy care networks, that you guys can refer them to any kind of help they need, housing.
Oh, yeah.
I understand you offer furniture and clothing if need be, if they have a need.
Yes. Yes, and a lot of times girls will come to us because they've already decided to carry, but they do need that assistance. And so we will connect them with our First Steps program, where basically as they do things, they get things. So they're going to earn everything they have. Even though they don't have the money, they're going to earn it with parenting classes and childbirth classes, mom support group. All those things are going to count towards whatever they're working for. Maybe they just need to come in for clothes and diapers all the time. They got the big stuff. Maybe they're working towards a crib, and they're going to come in often. We don't, I don't keep exact points or anything. I know who comes in and puts the effort in and who just doesn't want to do anything.
Right.
And they're told right on the phone that this is what we do. So a lot of times they'll sign up for an appointment right over the phone,
right,
and get plugged in. We also have a card where they'll punch a card. After 5 punches, they'll get something for themselves that's brand new. Usually around $10 is the value, but as a mom, you're a mom, forget it. Once you have the baby, it's all for the baby.
Right.
I have 2 kids. I know that's nothing for me. So we have that table that's just for them, something that's,
right,
maybe new perfume or, just anything for themselves.
I recently met 2 young girls at a party, and they both had new babies, and they had gone to a pregnancy care center, and they got bags of things for their babies. And they were so thrilled that they, it was just the support they needed, It might not seem like $200 worth of baby things is a big deal to anybody, but when that's just the support they needed to say, I can do this, I can make this. And
it feels good to get something on your own. And because I had my mom helping me, my grandma helping me, and
right,
that was important, and I loved all that support that I got. But it meant so much for
right,
me to bring home a bag of clothes,
right,
that I earned, I
met an Italian lady from New York one time, and she said that God sends a loaf of bread with every baby. Well, I'm telling you, these pregnancy resource centers, pregnancy care centers, these are your loaf of bread. They will help you with anything you need. I understand you also help with medical, legal, social services, adoption assistance.
Yes, we do. We refer out to several different adoption agencies around the city.
Right. Yeah. And I think the greatest thing you offer, Amy, is the emotional support. To say, we've got your back, we can help you with anything you need. I think that's the greatest work that you girls are doing out there. Also, too, I wanted to talk to you about, we can't ask for money or anything on, this television network, but you are in need of volunteers, aren't you?
Yes, we're always in need of volunteers. People move, people change their schedules, and there's seasons in everybody's life. And so I'm always in desperate need of volunteers, and all centers are. So not just mine. Just find our information. We'll refer you to the closest center, and come and volunteer. Even if it's a couple hours to hang up baby clothes. That is so helpful because they get piled in my office when I don't have someone hanging up baby clothes. So, even things that maybe you're not ready to talk to a girl and to sit down with her, but you want to put away baby clothes, or you want to clean the center, or you want to help bake something for an event we're having. We have committees of all kinds of people that want to do all kinds of things, and we're able to connect you up with whatever your gifts are.
Right. So if you don't need Amy for help, you might want to offer Amy some volunteer time for a great cause, for a wonderful cause. Are there any upcoming events you wanted to talk about, Amy?
Yes, we are having an upcoming event. It is on the South Side. September 7th is a gala event, and it's called Life in the Spotlight. And we're going to have stories and just all kinds of exciting music going on. It's just being planned. It's going to be exciting, and you'll be able to really connect, hear about what's going on specifically in the Oakland Center and in the North Hills Center, and connect with us.
And they could go on your website again, which is, give me that again, Amy.
PregnancyCareInfo.org.
And find out more about her gala event. Now, if you don't know where Southside, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania is, in your area, you can Google pregnancyresourcenetwork.org. You can Google Amy. They all link up to the pregnancy care centers in your area that are doing the same great work, that are doing offering the same great referral services from everything from medical to legal, that are offering all the help that she's offering. You can even link up through your website to the in your area. So if the sound of, you know, you're not local to this program, please go on pregnancyresourcenetwork.org, and you can link up anywhere you need to for, and you said there was another national.
Yes, the national organization their phone number is 1-800-395-HELP. And they are connected with every center in the whole United States.
Great.
So
you don't even have to go to your library and Google anybody. You can just call that phone number again and hook up to the pregnancy care center in your area. Again, that phone number, Amy?
1-800-395-HELP.
In the time we have left here, is there anything you want to talk? I'm sure there's a lot. You can never cover all that you're doing, but is there anything? Is there anything in particular you think we missed that you'd like to bring up? And if not, tell us some stories, some interesting stories. We love stories.
Oh, I have so many too. I had a girl that recently, she had a fire at her place. She was amazing and is an amazing person. She came to our center, was pressured by other people to have an abortion, stood her ground, was not going to have that abortion, really worked through a lot of the feelings, breaking up and leaving the boyfriend who was not supportive. And we just supported her emotionally and just love her. And gave her a bunch of things. She started giving to us. She said whatever she couldn't use, she was sending back. So she kept sending us things back. And one day she called us up and she had had a fire at her place and lost everything.
Oh.
She came back in, we got her, we went everywhere. We just put the word out that she needed things, and I can't tell you how much she has been blessed. And she'll come in and she'll tell us, I never knew that God could bless me like this. She got money donated to her. She got baby things. She got things for herself. She was so excited when she got clothes for herself. She was just provided with everything she needed, and she knew it was God working in her life.
Right.
We stood by her and we prayed through it all, and she's in her new place, and she's got almost everything she needs, and it's been 2 months. Which is unheard of when someone goes through a fire. So, you know you're there and you're called to help people make that decision about life. But there's so much more to it. I actually, from when I used to run the moms group, what was that, 10 years ago. 10 years ago, my youngest one will be 11. So 10 years ago, I was running the moms group. And I just heard from a girl today that, oh, did you remember so-and-so that was in mom's group and how she's doing? And so still today, 10 years later, these women will call and connect up with each other and find out how they're doing and still support each other, even though we've gone completely different ways and have gone into doing new things in our lives. We still will call each other up and support each other. And, you know, I think, gosh, I couldn't put a price on that. I volunteered for 3 years of my life, 1 night a week, 2 hours out of my week. That's like nothing. You know, when you look back on it, that was so minimal amount of time that I could put in. And I had little ones at the time. I did it, and I have been so blessed through these women.
Right.
And that's what I find a lot of times with my volunteers. They are blessed. They can't believe.
Nothing makes you feel quite so good as helping somebody else. You know, no money, no nothing will make you feel as good as helping somebody else. I want to say fear is not from God. Again, fear is not from God. If you're in a situation in an unplanned pregnancy and you're in fear of your parents and fear of your boyfriend and fear of money, whatever it might be, I'm telling you that's not from God. Step back, breathe, make a phone call to women like Amy. There are women all across this country. In this little town at all, there's 30 agencies like Amy just to help with pregnancy resources. Plus, there's peripheral agencies to them that they can refer to for anything from housing to education to anything you need. And they know if they don't have it, they can get you to who has it, all for free. So don't make a decision in fear. Get on the phone, call the 1-800, give me the number, Amy.
395-HELP.
HELP. 1-800-395-HELP. Get on the phone, make that phone call, get on the internet, connect up, because Amy, all the beautiful women out there like Amy and men that are out there volunteering, willing to help you for free, for not a penny. They're just waiting there to help you, and you'll never regret reaching your hand out for help. And your family will come around too, believe me, they will.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when they see that little baby.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know? And if not, I want to say a word for adoption, because my friends that have adopted are better parents than me. So there's a blessed family. There's a blessed couple out there waiting for you and for your baby. If you're not ready emotionally to commit to this baby, that's fine. Believe me, there are so many beautiful couples out there waiting for a baby, waiting for a sibling, for their first adopted one. Please consider adoption. You'll never regret that either.
No.
But you will never get over your abortion. I guarantee you, you'll never get over it. I have so many women friends that are suffering still from their abortion and the consequence of it. And so call Amy. Amy, do you want to give your website again and your address?
PregnancyCareInfo.org.
And the phone number to you, Amy?
You can call 412-687-7767.
And she will help you with anything you need help with,
Oh,
or connect you to any kind of help you want or need. And I thank you for being here today. And is there anything you'd like to say to maybe the girl out there that's listening and going to make a decision in fear? And what could you say, Amy?
I love what you said right in the beginning, education. Education, there's so much power in education.
Right.
Get educated, sit down, talk about it, making that decision very quickly. A lot of people think, oh, I'll make it very quickly because then it won't be a real baby and it won't make me feel as bad. But it doesn't go away at any age, whether you get an abortion at 6 weeks or at 10 weeks or at 15 weeks, it still doesn't go away. So stop and really think, and we'll help you think through that.
Don't make a decision in fear that you'll regret the rest of your life. I don't care if it's your parents' fears, your boyfriend's fears, whose ever fear it is. Don't make a decision in fear. Get educated. Talk to people who will educate you. Show your baby on an ultrasound. Walk you through everything. Be your emotional support. Your family will come around, but it's you who have to live with the regret the rest of your life. It's your regret. Don't let it happen to you without making a phone call, getting the education, information you need. That you'll never regret doing. And volunteer at a good pro-life organization like Amy's. Volunteer. Thank you for watching Love Them Both. And thanks for being here today, Amy.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you coming and appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, help me stand. I am tired, I am weak, and I am worn. Through the storm, through the night, lead me on to the light. Take my hand, Precious Lord, lead me home. When my way grows drear, precious Lord,